We're on day number 4. We're on day number 4 now. Okay, you should be able to hear me. And yeah, I'm here. Nice to once again joined here. This time around, it's my boy. It's the other bear. It's Leo. Leo, how we doing, man?
At your service. It's good to be back. I took last night off, left that in the very capable hands of this fine gentleman to my right, your left, the other left, alongside the lovely dulcet tones of one Kimberly Mass. I was watching your broadcast last night, man, and
Yeah.
I'm glad to see that that part of the world is growing their Mlbb scene too.
It is. That's basically what I was saying to, Gani and as well as Kim. I was like,
Of
one
course,
of the things
Albert. How can I
yeah,
forget?
Albert, I was like, one of the things that I like about ISF is always you get a peek through the window, man. Like the window of the developing countries, nations, teams, and players out there that we don't necessarily get, to see often. And I always love that about ISF. It's a platform to go ahead and see that. Now, obviously, some of those developing teams and everything else have to go against like these powerhouse teams in some of their first matches, and that's always a difficult task. But so far, again, it's one of those things that they have to go through. It's kind of like getting those reps in, and I think that's going to be the nature today, even with our broadcasted games.
Indeed. IESF puts the world in world esports, and our first match is going to be a clash of familiar faces. We know these athletes, we know these regions, and just the other night, one of these teams actually broke the internet by ending a game under 7 minutes. Real quick, before we talk more about the matchup, I think we need the big picture of what we're playing with here with our brackets.
Yep, these are our groups right here. Once again, broken up in different parts of Asia and, of course, Oceania included in here because we have another slide for that too. But Southeast Asia A and B, with the majority of the teams, those are split up. Of course, you have Philippines and Indonesia there, very familiar. Myanmar even, and Cambodia, Vietnam and Thailand. Brunei was who we got to see yesterday. And, of course, for the rest of the teams, West Asia B also having their two there. And even yesterday, like our very last match, I know it was kind of late, but we got to see Iraq and Kuwait battle it out, and that was a very impressive series, to say the least. And then, of course, for our last bit of groups here, we, of course, have Central Asia, and then that is Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan. We got to see them on stream too. East Asia, we have Hong Kong and Mongolia. Those were, again, the reason they're the only two, so that's why they had the best of 5. I think that was on day 1, with Kim and Realize, I think it was. That was casting that one for day 1.
Yep, Faiz.
Of course. Yep, and of course, South Asia there too. So, Leo, we have a whole bunch of teams involved in this qualifier.
Across the world. And this is just Asia and Oceania we're talking about. So I'm glad to see that tonight in our broadcast, we will go through quite a bit because we're also not just dipping into Southeast Asia, but we're also checking out some of the South Asian teams in action. I'd love to see what Mlbb is like for them because, if I'm not mistaken, unless you've been visiting iesf.gg, you wouldn't know what was up with South Asia, that group, because they have yet to be seen and shown on broadcast up until today. So I'd like to see how the metagame of Mlbb is evolving for them, because they'll be in action later on tonight.
As soon as you said it, I pulled up iesf.gg, and I think everybody watching should do that as well. If you guys want to go ahead and have the latest updates for that, you can go ahead and head over to iesf.gg. This is our schedule for today. Unlike yesterday and the previous days, we have 3 matches for you guys here. It's going to be, first off, Indonesia versus Laos, and then Indonesia versus Guam. And then, of course, we have Sri Lanka. I always get these. Nepal and Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka.
Say with me, Sri Lanka.
I can't roll my arm, man. You know me, I can't.
We'll cross the bridge when we get there. You got a couple hours to deal with your anatomy, your oral anatomy, Joseph. But yeah, no, these are all best of 3s we'll be witnessing tonight. And I love that we're doing it on the same day a hotfix patch came in. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't yet, please do open your Mlbb apps, click update, and then go into that little tab or go to my socials. I do post patch notes. You'll see that a good chunk of the hero pool has been updated. Nothing with the mechanics, nothing with the map or anything, but I'd say half a dozen heroes, 7 to be specific, have gotten adjusted. So I wonder if we'll see them in action tonight.
What I guess this is a good time to ask you real quick. What's the
Okay.
biggest change to a hero, or what was one of the biggest impactful changes of heroes that happened in this little hotfix?
3 letters, Joseph. YVE. If already you weren't impressed by how Eve got a little rework the last time we did a hot fix patch, you can call it that, 1.9.90.2, about 2 weeks ago, every bit of her kit got buffed. I don't know, man. I don't know what Moonton is on. They showed us the explanation, but I blanked out on that. I'm just saying, I just saw first skill, more damage. Second skill, more damage in the early game. Ult, better early game damage, and now provides vision when you hit targets off cam. So
Yeah.
I'm like, we better see some Eve.
I hope so. For some reason, when you said 3 letters, I was honestly thinking YSS, but close enough.
He got nerfed. He got a little tweak.
I saw, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw in as well as Lancelot, which I think was probably that was bound to happen. I think there needed to be something that happened to Lancelot, because even yesterday, man, like in yesterday's matches, we saw some pretty sick plays, I would say, with Lancelot alone, and there's still a reason why he is contested a lot, in our draft alongside YSS. And so, but I'm not sure, like, I'm not sure if that little bit of change that happened to Lancelot is actually going to be that much of an effect to him, because it's still that mobility, it's still that potential to kind of, be like the iframes that he has with the Thorn Rose and everything else, Phantom Execution. I mean, the escapability and mobility of Lancelot is always what's going to make him a threat, I feel like, especially now in our current meta. So, yeah, very minor change, at least that went out there. But again, this could play a part for the draft that we have once we eventually get to that. So I'll be interested to see how this plays out. Again, we already know with our 2 teams that are going to be playing here today how one of them really likes to play. We all, like, everybody watching is very familiar with Indonesia. I was saying the same thing with Philippines yesterday. Most of our viewers online that will be watching this, and us ourselves, we know how certain regions like to play. Indonesia likes to go ahead and do that. Now, for Laos, I think it's one of those things, and this has been the case for all the teams in all the regions, man. It's always like, how do they adapt to our current meta right now? How do they adapt to playing against a team like Indonesia? So I think we're going to go ahead and look at this. Again, this is our matchup, Indonesia versus Laos. We can kind of throw that out in the air once we get to the draft. But what do you think, man? I mean, you've casted now Iesf a couple different times. And when you see teams like this go against powerhouse teams, what's maybe one of the biggest things that they can do in preparation and hopes to maybe take a game or a series off a team like Indonesia?
If I were Team Laos, I'd be doing 2 things. Number 1, watching out for the cheese. Because Team Indonesia, after putting in Ju in the jungle and Kabuki in gold, have suddenly found this weird propensity to play cheese strats. I'm talking about the whole 7-minute shenanigans that they pulled against Team Vietnam the other night. So watch out for the Bruno, watch out for the fast ending team fighting, watch out for the infinite team fighting, and then you have 1 box checked off. The other is to play tight. Prove to the world that this version of Team Laos is a team that is worth watching and is a team that is ready to represent Mekong on an international scale. Because in just a bit, you will see that Team Indonesia, it's, Team Liquid ID, you know who it is, plus Ju. Kabuki is already part of that roster anyways in MPL ID Season 16. And Laos, though, Team Laos, you'll see their names in just a bit. I'm looking at the database. I'll tell you, I have to be honest, folks, watching at home, Joseph, with you as my witness, I've never called a match featuring these athletes.
Yeah. And I think if I remember, what a name, by the way. Team roster here. Roblox, Robinks, Dark Baby. Dark Baby. Baby Shiba. And then there's just lifestyle.
Right?
So
see, like,
this is a lifestyle, man.
If I casted a game with a player named Dark Baby, I would know. I'll tell you now. But I've never. So what an introduction. A reintroduction to Team Laos.
Very interesting. I think because like even if you try to pull them up, like some of the information that we have available to us, I don't even know if it's the same. Yeah, it looks like it is different players in there, and that have represented Laos in some of the different international tournaments and everything else.
Yep.
So this might be one of those cases where this could be a completely new roster for a lot of us watching Laos, but one of the things that we can just say is that's how they have to approach the game. Approach the game in the best way they can against a team like Indonesia, and they showcase what their play style is going to be. But knowing that region, like, again, we have to look at the bigger picture here from what knowledge we have, the Mekong region and everything else. They love to play the game that Indonesia does. You know, they like to go and battle things out, play a little fast. I think generally, Leo, like, everybody's kind of adjusted to this. Like, even the Philippines, who has been primarily, you know, very objective based for the past couple of years, but then, you know, over the past maybe half a year or a year, they've really switched up things up as well. I see more teams doing this. Like, I almost feel like they're more even comfortable fighting the current play style, the current meta that we have.
Yeah, what you're trying to get at, Joseph, is the fact that team fighting is now unavoidable. Games are won off of the back of snowballing. Deathballing is no longer a niche strat that fits just specific teams. In the heyday of one of your favorite teams in the history of Mlbb Esports, RSGPH, this was their strat. This was a major tool in the arsenal of one coach Panda, Brian Lim, wherein we win fights, we convert. We win fights, we convert. No, that is just the name of the game in Mlbb right now. So what Team Indonesia is doing is they're taking it to 11. They are fighting endlessly. As soon as I respawn, I'm in the fight. I'm surprised these dudes aren't even rocking Arrival, because I'm pretty sure they would love to. But, you know, fight. Next thing you know, you're blinded by rage, and they pushed you 2 towers deep down bottom. That is the MO for this version of Team Indonesia. So that's something that Team Laos should be watching out for.
How did they, because I didn't get a chance to see it, how did they have a 7-minute game? They did it without arrivals? Because I remember it reminds me of last year's qualifiers. You know,
Team USA.
A team from Team USA did something very similar.
Yep.
So, but I think they had arrivals, if I remember right.
Nope.
They did something like that. So how did this work for Indonesia this time?
Team Indonesia, in case y'all didn't know, the other night, for the lack of a better term, sorry for my French, massacred Team Vietnam. And I'll tell you now how, Joseph, and good people watching at home.
Tell me.
They did it with the help of Team Vietnam. Vietnam helped them. All right, Joe got to be specific. He is the culprit. He is guilty. He threw himself into the loving arms of Team Indonesia consistently and constantly. I'm not so sure if with the consent and communication of his team, but that helped tip the scales and give him so much economy to snowball on Kabuki. And because of their lineup, all right, it's not just Joga. I think I would be disingenuous to say it was all just Joga's fault, because everyone at that point just shouldn't have fought, and everyone died for no good reason at all. The fact that their lineup had almost 0 wave clear, it was a mid-Angela on that just helped. All right, so that's what I mean when I say Team Vietnam helped Team Indonesia get that 7-minute win, sub 7-minute win. And if it was another draft, like if you changed 2 picks, 3 picks, and if Vietnam was a little more conservative, maybe we would have seen a 9-minute game.
That's still incredible, though, to think about it, like a game that fast. You know, there's still the opportunity or the potential for that to happen, even though like within the game there's been, you know, some like safety placement holders for that to happen, even on the turrets, finding that early and everything else. So I'm surprised it worked, but like you said, it unfortunately had to be an effort also from the other side. So I don't know. I don't want to say I expect to see that here from Laos. Now, Laos in Group B currently, if I am seeing this correctly, they are 1-1 in terms of the matches. They're 2-3 overall for games. Yep. Indonesia, of course, is 4-1 for the games, and they're 2-0 right now. So they might be in a very similar position to Philippines after we finish up today, because, like I said, on stream we're going to be seeing them compete twice here on the stream. So I think that's the main thing. Again, is really to see what Indonesia has left on the table for us. Now, always at this point of the qualifiers, I feel like teams like to go ahead and test the grounds a little bit, like test the limits a little bit with some of the drafts. We actually saw some pretty interesting things even yesterday alone. Some of the picks, we do see some teams still going, like if they get a YSS, for example, they'll put something like a fighter in the gold lane. We saw this lineup with a Mincetar and a Chip yesterday. That was a very interesting lineup to, because like when we were talking about it in the draft, me and Gani were like, I wonder how this is gonna work, because we know that teams like to typically go fighter gold, YSS is there, but then you throw in a chip who like kind of fell off a little bit, like in the current meta, but it worked so well, man. It even caught the Lancelot in a lot of the times, because again, you just have like the shortcut to bring in the Mincetar, and then King's Calling to follow through as well. So I feel like we're in a very nice kind of flexible meta that's still somehow developing even now. Like, I feel like I've been saying that for a while. So I don't know, we're getting to the draft, and this is exactly where we're going to see that kind of fall into place here.
Patch 1.9.9 is the hot pick. Right? Without that kind of change. But I would categorize it still as cheese, you know? This whole chip plus Mincetar. I don't know if we'll see
Definitely
it here.
Cheese.
But, you know, if anyone's going to pull it out, I'm hoping it's Laos. Because Indonesia are beyond that now. Even their whole 7-minute victory was still drafted with a very tight lineup. So now, going into game number 1, Indonesia on the play. They are prioritizing... looks like they still want a Lancelot here.
Yeah. These are quick bans. Quick bans coming through. The last one, kind of the decision. I think maybe they go an XP ban, XP lane maybe ban here.
CC still on.
CC
still out. Yep.
Yep. Maybe the CC. There it is. So CC's being banned out now. Laos. I don't know. Imagine they just swerve it and they do take out the Lancelot, since they already banned out the YSS as well, just to kind of leave things into a situation where it's like, all right, what are we gonna park in the jungle? But that's what I was saying, man. We have so many good picks. Like, even if you get through some of these power bans or these targeted bans, there's so much left, so much creativity left on the table that you can go ahead and draft in certain compositions. So Laos is probably giving that some thought here.
So Laos still takes care of one of the main commodities of the current metagame, the 1-1. So left open is the Eve, the Lancelot, and the Baksha. They go for the Lancelot still, despite the bans, rather the nerfs. So Laos should prioritize one or the other. Oh yeah, Zushin still. They didn't touch Zushin. So forget about it with the whole Eve thing. Zushin is still broken. Would you go Zushin Baksha? Zushin Phoveus. Alright.
Phoveus.
Laos, these 2 picks, something tells me they're relying on old tricks. This is comfort.
I like it. I like that they get 2 solid choices. I think I would like to see the Eve in action. I don't know if Indonesia wants to go ahead and pick it up, but hopefully we get to see that, just so we get to see some of the changes.
They get a Moskov, and they also pick up the glue. What happens here is, because of the Phoveus, you kind of soft block the Arlet. So I don't think we're going to see the Arlet anymore, especially from Team Indonesia, given the glue. But Laos, yeah, again, this is my theory. This is my working approach to the draft. It's old favorites. There's the Joy in the Jungle.
Okay, Joy in the Jungle. They've got a whole lot of magic damage, man, you know, so it makes me wonder, like, at least for the gold lane, maybe you want to go ahead and, like, get a Granger, but I almost feel like the Granger is going to be banned out. You could also go for the Bruno if they decide. You know, again, that's the one thing. We kind of just have to throw some ideas out there, just because we don't have that information for Laos. Good ban, though. I mean, it's a good ban, but I'm sad to see it banned out, because I wanted to see the Eve. I'm sure at some point today we will. As I was mentioning, Granger would probably be one of the priorities for the gold lane for Laos. That's banned out. I wouldn't be surprised if it's one more gold lane option that Indonesia picks. Maybe the Bruno, or perhaps a Claude even, because they have a Moskov. I mean, unless they're like, because they know, like, this is way too much magic damage. We don't have to deal with a Harith.
Yeah. So I think Indonesia will allow Laos to get the Harith, because all you got to do is build an Athena shield, the Radiant Armor, you're good to go. What I am worried about is the Claude, though. So do they ban the Claude? Because that's a lot of... Alright, no. That's a lot of Art of Thievery stacks on the glue alone once he goes spread. Gatot gets banned. Still no roamers for Team Laos.
Alright, roam option. They could pick it here or save it and just go the gold lane, because... I don't know. I think Bruno. Yeah, okay. Bruno, there's the Iesf. Iesf gets picked up. Oh my goodness. What if they go the Angela?
This is the first time I'm seeing Iesf in a while. Joseph, if they pick Angela, I'll tell you now, it's very greedy, but also has the potential to just be a stompy lineup. But I like how they answer with the Cho. That's a witty special. Whoever gets into the Hearthguard, if ever it is an Angela pick, gets picked off. But the Aurora, what is Yahazkill? What are you doing? What are we cooking here, Mr. Wiseman?
He just wants to freeze him because this is a mobility lineup, man. It wasn't the Angela, it was the Tigreal. This is a mobility lineup. How do you stop mobility? You just freeze him in the tracks.
Yeah, given that Laos is very short ranged, they're gonna have to get into proximity, and that's one way to punish with the Aurora. I was thinking maybe Vexana might show up, but we might have to save that for a game or two down the line, because she also got buffed. I think Indonesia are hedging their bets, risking their picks in the very safe spots, because look at Laos. This is an old draft. Tell me this has not come from 6 months ago. Tell me this is not a draft you saw from an older patch. While Indonesia said, you know what? All right, well, we'll pick the risky hero in mid, and then everything else will be heroes we're comfortable with anyways.
And I think part of this, too, I want to see how this Lancelot performs, man, after the changes here. So we are about to jump in to the Land of Dawn. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first match of today. It's Indonesia versus Laos, this best of 3 to move a little bit closer to the next stage here for the Iesf Asian and Oceania qualifiers. Now, as Leo and I have mentioned, some changes have quickly happened overnight. Nothing too big, nothing too crazy, but one thing to keep an eye on is this Lancelot from Sin. Is it going to be a big difference or not? And the Joy, of course, they're going to go for their typical starts here.
Joseph, you already shared your 2 cents is maybe it won't be enough. Because again, reduced scaling damage for Lancelot's ult, Phantom Execution, that's a problem you're going to have to deal with 10 minutes down the line. Second skill, the Thorn Rose, reduced damage output. Again, you don't really get it for the damage. You use it to be able to weave in and out of risky situations, tight spots that Lancelot might find himself in. So putting it in the hands of Ju, very promising jungler for Team Indonesia, I'm with it. Nothing out of the ordinary. I'm looking here for Team Indonesia's emblems, except maybe Roblox!
Oh! Wow. Roblox! Taking out first blood. This is, hey, as you mentioned, man, this is a witty special. We've seen him do it before, time and time again. You can get an early kill on that Cho in the early game. You're going to be a threat now for the rest of this. So, we'll go ahead and back out of it, but early first blood for them is great. Now, part of this, too, for Laos is playing into their level 4, playing into that first objective. That's what they're kind of working for, because we know how good an implosion can be, especially with the beacon, but that little bit of a delay might affect them into the first objective. It's up in a couple seconds, so they're going to scrap for the XP that they can get.
Also unfortunate that it was on the mid laner. It was on Roblox, who, again, looking at the item build or the emblems and his intent for this lineup, he shouldn't have died there. He should actually keep himself relatively safe, play conservatively. Look at this, the start!
Oh, they're already going to go for it. Phantom Execution already used. Roblox will go down as Wiseman picks up a kill. The beats are going to come down, but they burn the flickers out. Forget the turtle, let's just fight, is what they say. Meanwhile, in the gold lane, a 1v1 as Dark Baby fell to Leonardo. But now for the rest, still in the mid lane, a little bit of freeze here. Pops the Vengeance. Is Lifestyle going to be able to get out of this? No, sir, Arnada picks up a kill.
Dark Baby got put in the corner by Kabuki single-handedly. That happened off camera. I don't even know what the story was of that 1v1, but you don't do that against an MPL ID veteran like Kabuki, like Indonesia's Leonardo. Look at this. Witty's got ill intent for Dark Baby. And say what you will about a delayed turtle take, but this is all according to Indonesia's timing.
It's crazy how just that little sequence now gets them to a pretty good lead. There's a kick, Way the Dragon right into a whole lot of CC.
Baby!
As Baby Sheba goes down. Unfortunate there, and you know, we're seeing it, Leo. I mean, this is the amount of crowd control this lineup gives Indonesia, and you know, it's synced up perfectly. Whether it's a kick, whether it's the, you know, the Aurora just locking him down with the freeze here, and it's tough to deal with, I think, if you're Laos, because it's kind of like you're trying to catch your breath, but you're frozen half the time or kicked.
Joseph, it's not like Laos don't have the tools to deal with it. They have their own level of CC, even some level of immunity, but Indonesia's just playing on a whole other level. Oh, a kick finds Baby Sheba!
He's even going to kick the tank, but this time, Baby Sheba, tanky enough to survive. Dark Baby could be in trouble. Take some hits, but ultimately going to be fine. And so, I don't know, man. It's just Witty. Every time the way the dragon up, he's just going to go for the kick. Doesn't matter who it is. I think they just want to see if they can, you know, combo enough to get a kill.
Yep, this is a case of it's not what you got, it's how you use it. And what Laos has is good, actually, you know, with their short-range dive comp with a lot of CC and purifies of their own cleanses. They should be able to fight back, but I think the Filipino viewers will understand what I'm saying is I think Laos got an aura on them. Laos is afraid of Indonesia. That's my theory, is they know that this is a juggernaut they're fighting against, and they have to play defensively. They're put in an automatically defensive position.
Yeah, you can see that even with the early rotate, XP laners making their way for this turtle fight that's about to break out. You have the follow through down in the mid lane. They'll clear this out. Lifestyle will take a couple shots. Arnauto's going to be fine, though. Turtle's up. You can see the switch, though. Kabuki, Leonardo winning up top. He can join the fight if he wants to with a Spear of Destruction. So this is where we have to see, can Baby Sheba get an implosion? But there's a setup already with a Frigid Glacier. Not used just yet, holding on to it. But again, turret goes up top. Here's the Spear of Destruction. It's going to find the land. Does he follow through? Turtle still for the fight. Sin will go ahead and grab it. Indonesia securing the objective. Now the fight's still going to break out. Sheba's still up. Witty could be in trouble. It should be able to just hop on over the wall. But Lifestyle wants a kill. But they lost Roblox. It's one long team fight. All for the objective, and Indonesia will get that plus a turret.
Not a good day to be Roblox of Team Laos. Already suffering 3 deaths in under 6 minutes. I think Indonesia are even testing their limits because they're not even bum rushing these turtles. They're not bum rushing any rotations. They're actually just taking them as they come. And you're seeing here, all the more, that the change to Lancelot doesn't affect them at all. It's not really even damage. It's not even defensively you're using that Thorned Rose. You saw him use it to help secure the turtle. So you can do that offensively too.
Yeah, so at this point, it's somehow, I think Laos is still in a good position to, you know, buy some time, get to where they need to be. Because, like, they're tanky enough as well. Like, Baby Sheba, yeah, Baby Sheba got kicked around a couple times, but ultimately has done well surviving those initiations. And we've seen it before, an implosion can really change the course of, like, these earlier team fights, especially around objectives. And I think you're just waiting for enough damage to be built up for Dark Baby. Now, I think that's still going to take time because when we looked at the items, you could see that Dark Baby was quite behind. Just because, again, oh, Robinks, okay, he's fine. But still, bottom side into the Frigid Glacier again. The crowd control just layered so well from Indonesia, not giving Laos a chance to really respond.
Laos got nothing on the board, no turrets, no major objectives, no kills. Huge deficit in gold, looking at about 6K. This is something that maybe Indonesia will do here with the final turtle, what they did against Vietnam in their 7-minute game. They'll let this turtle evolve into the Lord. Because we're 30 seconds off. It spawned in the lower quarter. Gonna get replaced very soon. Oh, wait. Oh, no, Yehezkiel already hit it. I think Yehezkiel is gonna help secure. So they want the maximum value of these the economy a turtle provides.
Yeah, they'll go ahead and grab it. There it is. Now 3 for 3. The turtles here for Indonesia. And this is what I was looking at. You know, for gold earned, you can see how far behind the gold laner right now is for Dark Baby, for Laos. You know, you got to catch up somehow, some way, but then you're almost forced in a situation where, especially on an Nearthel, you kind of got to stay with the team. You know, you can't really be off on your own with how Indonesia can move around the map, especially that they got these early turrets with the work here. I mean, look at that. One little Thorn Rose. Random execution go in. Nice toss in. Sin goes down. They get punched under the tier 2 turret. Witty waiting patiently. Might go for a kick. Has a concussive blast as well. Leonardo will go ahead and make the way. There's the way of the dragon to keep Lifestyle right pinned into the wall. Pops the vengeance, but might not be enough as he goes down too. Conceal going to be used. What does Laos want to do? They actually want to go in for the fight here. It looks like they do. Roblox leading the charge alongside Robinks. He picks up Leonardo, looking for another. Witty's able to flicker out and survive. But now Dark Baby could be in trouble. Arnauto will jump on off. So at least a response from Laos.
You know what? Chin, Ju dying here, that was kind of warranted. They helped set up and paid for that push up top. But Leonardo, Kabuki actually falling, that's a shame. I don't think Team Indonesia saw that coming. And this is us seeing that Laos has something left in the tank. Laos, pulse still beating. Silver lining here for the Mekong region athletes that they can actually punish Team Indonesia. So already 9.5 minutes in, Lord spawning in about 20. Something tells me what Laos should do is maybe not Ube so much, because it's so easy for them to get punished hard if Indonesia decides to lean in on it.
Oh,
Aran goes for the spread. Oh, he gets pulled in.
Oh, no. Still have the passive here. Right now, his skill will go down. Wise Man out of the picture. Spirit of Destruction thrown on out. Does follow through, and now Robinks falls down. There's the kick. Witty will get the Purify out. Still going to be on the hunt for Roblox, and meanwhile, the fight is split up as Dark Baby goes down. It's a triple right there for Ju, making a Maniac. He wants the Savage. He might make his way to this. Arnada keeping him there. Lifestyle knows what's coming. Dark waves through. He'll get the Savage. Ju Shin makes it through. And what a play into the Lord.
Indonesia's own Chin. Ju gets the Savage. What I tell you, Joseph, what I tell you, don't group up like that. Do something to answer to the split push by Kabuki. And instead, they fed a Savage over plus a Lord to Ju. And now it's worse than ever. 9,000 between Team Indonesia and Team Laos. Here's the thing. Laos has less than ideal wave clear. Wow. Dark Baby just barely gets away. It's another fight waiting to happen.
I think they just want to keep fighting it out. Dark Baby popping the heavy crossbow just to escape the auto attacks from Kabuki. Leonardo, man. It's a dire place to be. You're 10,000 gold behind. And you got a Lord, making its way up top. Can they hold on? I think that's the biggest question here for Laos, because right now Indonesia has just been wanting to fight back to back to back, just like we've seen them do in the previous matches. So this is tough. Top turret going to be work done. Leonardo, go ahead and work on that. Lord just now up to the base. Will charge into a destroyed turret.
A little nub.
They'll hold on.
Oh. Now look at this. 2v1! The Indonesian Chin Ju recently got a Savage. Takes down Roblox. They're in the base!
Oh, they're going to go in. They have to pop the Purify. Still going to be working on it. Lord did go down, so they are going to be able to clear the minions out. Wise Man to fall. Right now, Laos still holding it together. They're going to clear the waves out the best they can. But Leonardo going to be firing off on Lifestyle. Lifestyle jumping in with the Infernal Pursuit. Has a little bit of shield left. Will be able to heal back up, but still goes down. Not enough sustain there for Lifestyle. But what Laos did is held on. They're still in the game. They're down one member. Lifestyle not a part of this fight. Indonesia calls it off. They got the 2 turrets. They're happy with that.
Lifestyle and Roblox are experiencing the hardest time in this bout against Team Indonesia. Phovius and Zushin are 2 of the most powerful heroes in the current metagame. More so Zushin, right? She's still banned consistently in the first phase, even in our own League of MPL Philippines. But specifically, for Roblox, this Zushin, the 25-year-old from Laos, he already had a very bad start. He's the one who they drew first blood on. He's the one that got killed first, but look at this. They're still trying, giving it their old Laotian Boy Scout try, conceal into Team Indonesia.
Oof. Yeah, I gotta say, even down the thousands of gold that they are here.
10, Joseph, 10.
10,000.
10,000.
10 Gs. It's
10 bans in UK.
They still want to fight, man. Like, Laos is still showing some form of confidence. I think the difficult part of it is, again, look at the angles that Indonesia is setting up at. That's the problem, because if they try to go ahead and contest into the jungle, or let's say into this Lord, which is coming up in a couple seconds, Laos is going to have to keep their head on a swivel, as I like to say. They're going to have to watch every single angle that Indonesia can come through on. And so that's kind of the decision-making that we're seeing them make. Like, should we actually approach this Lord? Should we try to contest this as it's being started up by Shin over here? So, looks like they're just going to secure it. Laos will have no decision, but just to go ahead and prep up, ready to defend to the base.
Team Laos is clearing waves. This is possibly the best thing that they can do. Maybe only second to clearing the opposite wave, the long wave. They find Aran hiding in that little brush. The spread from the Indonesian XP laner. Robinx forced to use the electrifying beats to get out. So, weirdly enough, even if they are down this severe, I think Team Laos are still making the right decisions. Don't pick fights.
Yep.
Stay in your base, wait for the waves to come in so you get some passive resources. Dark Baby getting the Wind of Nature here should help against Leonardo, against Chin, even against Widdy, one might argue. But the big question to ask is, will they survive this Lord? Because this is, for a lot of people, will say, is endable. Oh no, Dark Baby!
Dark Baby in trouble! Aran stuck on him, but still going to be fighting. Now, it's Widdy that goes down first. The passive already popped from Wiseman. Laos is fighting back as Lifestyle dunks on him. But now, Chin, part of the fight, looking for the kill on Roblox. Couple hits, will get it. The rest of the team kind of join here into the base, into the fight, clear the waves out. Lifestyle gets the airtime, but will fall. And now the base is going to be locked here, looking for one more kill. Robinx trying to buy time, and Leonardo will just go on the hunt. Kabuki, there's the Spear Destruction. He'll be able to join that fight too. Finds Dark Baby. Immortality is going to be popped, but that's not anything to worry about as the base will go down. A Maniac at the end there for Kabuki. And there you go, game 1 for Indonesia.
Even when Team Indonesia took that fight fast and loose, they still got away with the dub. That is what a huge gold gap gets you. The separation between the economic values that both teams were holding was enough to change the level of firepower they were playing with. Mind you, Team Indonesia lost members first, so there was a numbers advantage for Team Laos, but despite that, it was still Team Indonesia who ended right then and there. 15 minutes. If I think they played it a little more aggressively, if they sent Kabuki, Leonardo over to split push more aggressively, they could have ended much sooner.
Yeah, looking at the highlights here, of course, for match 1, it was a game that was pretty much controlled from Indonesia from start to finish. I feel like Laos had some moments where there could have been something. It's always one of those cases, Leo, where it's like if they weren't down 10,000 gold, then maybe that would have been a different story. Even that last fight into the base, But ultimately, what got Indonesia that 10,000 gold to work through is these early fights. These are early objectives, these early setups from Widdy to go ahead and find the kicks on the right mark. Ju or Chin just kind of making the plays. I mean, he got a savage at around the 10-minute mark for this game. So. You get a Savage and then a Maniac in one game. That's just how dominant it was for Indonesia.
You know what? I forgot that he even got a Savage. I was so focused on the macro execution and how possibly Laos could get themselves out of this rut. But yeah, again, you have that much economy on a Lancelot this fast? Maybe if we're talking about how Laos could fall back, number 1 is draft a little tighter. Looking at their drafting sequence, they banned the Yusenshin, the Selena, and the Wanwan. Maybe the Selena was something that they could have tested out first. Maybe they could have let that through and instead banned the Yusenshin and the Lancelot. But I don't blame them. Again, they traded for a Zushin and Phoveus. Maybe the Phoveus was the one that came in too soon. Maybe they were too afraid of Aran's Arlott.
Yeah, I guess I got the answer that I was looking for with the Lancelot too. It doesn't seem like it was affected too much. But also this just could have been one of those games where Chin was able to go ahead and play this out of his mind. Like you said, we got a Savage, but part of that too is you just get set up so well. The layering of the crowd control that you see from Indonesia's lineup is what really set the tone, for this game, because it was a lot of the way of the Dragon kicks into the Frigid Glacier, and vice versa. I mean, even for Aran to go ahead and set things up with the glue, a lot of times his target was solely Dark Baby. Like Dark Baby had a hell of a time, trying to get away. Wow, that was that shook me, man. I don't know if you heard that. That was some thunder.
Yes. For those of y'all who are in the Metro Manila area in the Philippines, stay safe and dry. But everyone else around the world, enjoy the broadcast. Enjoy this showcase by Team Indonesia. Again, we expected for them to perform well. We expected for them to, take the dub against Laos, knowing what we know about Team Indonesia. But a Savage wasn't in my bingo card. Not tonight.
Not tonight.
Not in this match, at least. Because, again, we know Laos. We know Mekong. We know the kind of ML they play. I guess they just weren't ready for a hungry young jungler like Chin.
Yeah, it's impressive. Like I said, you know, to have this game where you get the Savage and then you get a Maniac there too. So it makes me think for Laos, kind of like, what do you want to do when it comes to the draft? Because that's what I was saying. You know, for a lot of the times, it's like you have all these quality bands out. Like you mentioned, there was a couple of heroes you said maybe they could have let slip through, or maybe they prioritize a little bit differently.
Selena, play with play with the Selena maybe.
Maybe the Selena, like, but I feel like even the Selena, in this sense, it's like we've seen the Selenas so many times now, and it's if they don't get the arrows that they're looking for in the early game, and I feel like this would have been one of those games. Maybe they slowed down the crowd control layering that we saw in the early game if they were throwing arrows out. You know, like if they were throwing those arrows out, then yeah, that could have changed the course of the early game. So would love to see how they kind of adjust for Game 2's draft. I think Laos in general just needed a lot more to go in their favor here for them. It was those little glimpses, and I remember saying this specifically even yesterday with like Brunei, for example. It's like you see these little glimpses when they're up against these powerhouse teams where it's like you want to see more of that. So hopefully they can channel that for Game 2. But we're going to be taking a short break for our players to go ahead and get situated before Game 2 is ahead of us. Right now it's 1-0. It's match point for Indonesia. It's me, Naisu, and Leo. We'll be back after the break. And welcome back, everybody, after the short break. Just a couple minutes there. Hope you got to grab your snacks and your hydration, because we're about to go into game number 2 here for Indonesia and Laos. Once again, I'm Naisu, joined here with Leo to bring you the action for today. Now, if you happen to miss game 1, it was pretty dominant for Indonesia. I think, again, this was what we were talking about leading into the matchup. So Laos showed some moments of some fight, you know, against Indonesia. Indonesia did get a Savage and a Maniac, mind you, for that. So that's how strong of a game they had. But, you know, Laos, I think we have to go ahead and kind of break down what can they do. What can they do to go ahead and potentially get to a game 3 here? Because, again, anytime you're up against a powerhouse team, it's like, I feel like from an athlete's perspective, it's like you really want to break it down and not be too overwhelmed. So, Leo, in your analytical perspective, what's maybe like 1 or 2 points that you would say would be the biggest thing that they can change here going into game 2? It can be the draft, it can be the game execution itself.
Number 1 specifically, take away the Lancelot from the young Jonathan Chin. All right, don't give this 18-year-old upstart jungler from Indonesia the Lancelot, because yes, it was nerfed, maybe slightly more nerfed than Yisun Shin, but still don't. All right, so my best practice is allow the Selena, again, roll the dice, okay? See what Yehezkiel is going to do with it, but in my book, it couldn't be worse than what Chin did to you, all right? So maybe let through the Selena. If you can get your hands on the Lancelot, better. That might be a way for you to crawl back. But a second thing to do is, I don't know how deep their hero pool is, Joseph. That's the thing. I don't know if it really is that dire, or what was that?
For which one? From Laos?
Or was it Roblox? Wait, who was their roamer?
The roamer was
Baby Shiba.
Baby Shiba.
Yeah.
Tigreal.
Yeah, I don't know if Baby Shiba's hero pool is very specifically for that kind of roamer, but maybe allow for that to be a little bit of a flex. You know, like if you're capable of more than just because there's a reason why we don't see Tigreal in the highest level of competition right now. It's been a hot minute since we've seen Tigreal in, you know, MPL PH, MPL. I don't even know when we last saw it in MPL ID. So maybe allow for that to switch. Now here we go. Team Indonesia, are they going to risk it? Lancelot's still out there.
Give it to Robinks. We want to see Robinks play the Lancelot now.
Robing.
And even for Dark Baby, man. Oh, they don't ban it, so it's open. It's for the taking here.
Now!
They took on CC, so insta-lock, dude. Insta-lock.
There's the
Lancelot. Lancelot. Now, is this Farsa? There's Baksha? Barca Baksha.
Yep.
All right.
This is a textbook response by Team Indonesia. Laos can
Is this
maybe...
Would this be the best response for Lancelot? Is Baksha really the answer?
Granger Eve. It can flex, and it's okay in Witty's hands. Like, I don't see it as a direct answer to Lancelot anyways.
That's true, yeah. All right. Do Laos, so they get the Gadakacha, the Granger. This was, I feel like, what they really probably were debating in the previous game, if they should have taken that Granger earlier on, because it was banned in that second phase, so they go that here. Indonesia, though. Moskov, maybe? Yeah, lock in, like, the gold laner, I would assume. Just so you have that, you know, it's not banned out, but... Then again, like, we know more of the hero pool of Indonesia, that it runs pretty deep.
Yep.
For over here for Indonesia, in comparison to Laos.
Which puts us in a very specific spot, wherein, even while they're in blue, Laos is very reactive, because we know what Indonesia is capable of, we know what they prioritize and what they want to do. Laos, they have to just respond. And sadly, they have to cater to this very specific pick. How do they lock down the Fanny? Because I'll tell you now, the Gatot ain't enough. The Gatot Kacha, I guess I got the answer to my question, right? Does Baby Shiba's hero pool go so deep? It's able to play a Gatot, so at least that. But it's not enough to answer the Fanny.
Yeah, I was gonna say, could they somehow flex the Gadakacha and then like pick up a Cho or pick up a Kufra or something to go ahead and try to deal with this Fanny, because oh man, that's the thing. These Fanny specialists, man, and most of them are in the Philippines and Indonesia. You know, they're these specialists, and they'll do work whether you allow them to or not. So you need to have a direct answer for it. If they don't, then maybe something even like a Hilda, just to put that pressure into the jungle, because like you mentioned, Gadakacha is not enough to deal with the Fanny. And even if you try to deal with the Fanny, you're going to have a Baksha in your face rolling around. So
I'll tell you now, Joseph, even the Hilda seems like a half measure. And Indonesia took care of the two main culprits of putting down Fannies in the current metagame, the Cho and the Badang. Only now available left would be the Akai, the Kufra, the Ruby, but these are specific picks. Like, they don't just fit in randomly, especially into this first phase draft by Team Laos. So they take away one more pick. This is Aran's Arlet. I think they're fine. You know what? Indonesia can even glue. Doesn't matter. They still have a glue.
They could glue, they could Edith, they could...
But they can wait for the mid laner. They can wait for the mid laner. I would say Lapu's better if they wanted to pick it now.
Yeah.
Or they can gold lane. Moskov. Even Harith. I think even Harith is lethal here, because Fanny's physical.
Yeah. If you did Harith and then you got... Yeah, so if you did Harith and then you get Lapu, like, on the trade, you have enough physical damage. Like, Lapu alone does enough for himself, kind of like that support physical damage to what a Fanny can do here. So, we'll see what the answer from Laos is going to be. Again, Gadakacha could be possibly flex, but there's the Kagura. Now for this, where is it going? Is this going to be the XP lane pick, or is this going to be the roam pick for Laos here, I think? Okay, so Gadakacha's going in the roam, Phoveus in the XP, so it's going to be lifestyle again, running that Phoveus.
So the Phoveus is an answer to the Harith, because again, it's a little boy, he's going to be dashing in. So that's fine. But again, you're literally... This is Laos just telegraphing, we don't want nothing from Chin. We don't want nothing from that Fanny. We'll win elsewhere. There's the Edith. This is a pick for Aran. And it's good against the Phoveus. I like how it's just enough CC to make the Kagura worry. So Roblox has to really consider where he uses that Purify. I was afraid that Indonesia weren't going to give him anything to worry about. Maybe possibly waste that part of Kagura's kit, but here they found it. It's either the jump from Widdy or the full-on onward Earthshatter combo from Aran.
Yeah, they have so many tools. Again, Indonesia does this a lot, where they have multiple options to go ahead and start things up or heal if they need to. It's a funny, like, that's a funny thing though too. With this lineup, they only need to take care of Kabuki, Leonardo on the Harith. Like, that's all they have to take care of, because everybody else can get away on their own. You know, you can cable on out, you can wings on wings out. And so the job is easier now for Aran and Witty. So let's see if Laos can go ahead and contest against this. Again, it's game 2 here in Indonesia after a dominant game 1 win. Will we get to see the likes of a game 3 here for Laos? We'll find out. They got the Lancelot. That's what they wanted to take away from Indonesia, and they are going to be able to start with it. So this is where we get to see if Robinx can replicate what we saw Chin do in the previous game.
He's already done one good thing, is take it away from Chin, right? You deny the momentum from Chin after scoring that Savage, but now he's facing another challenge, is how does he use this Lancelot's kit to get his team out of sure defeat? Oh, wow, look at this. Yehezkiel and Witty very low.
Yeah, I think that was a part of the plan here. Baby Sheba could be in trouble. Another cable. First blood in the hands of Chin. I think that's what they wanted, man. They knew that they had to revitalize, and they were just like, you know, stay here for a little bit longer, bait it a little bit, and then they even got the revitalize from Baby Sheba out.
They've put Baby Sheba to sleep. Snap time, Lil Gatot. And we're back to square one. This is where we saw Team Laos when we opened up the series. An early first blood in mid, and then the rest of the map slowly getting taken over by Team Indonesia. This XP lane matchup is only going to get worse. This XP lane matchup is going to come to a point wherein even Lifestyle wants to get out of there earlier because of the potential of Aran to go 1v1 against him.
Yeah, and that's the thing about an Edith. I know we don't see the Edith pop up too much, like in you know, in competitive play, even in our own region and everything. But it's like those specific players that can still make it work really well. And part of that is just the amount of crowd control that she provides to the team, and then the damage,
the unorthodox amount of burst you can get from a fully built Edith in the mid to the late game. It's disgusting. I'll tell you now.
Especially with Warcry.
Especially with Warcry. So even Aran is telegraphing the fact that you better respect my damage or else it's gonna hurt. Roblox coming in, gets knocked up by Aran.
Oh, Roblox not finding the connection. There's fed an airstrike, and just to join the party at the right time. Here's Shin.
Baby Sheba.
Baby Sheba already gone. Go to sleep once again. Aran dealing with Chin, or Lifestyle rather. Oh, Lifestyle is actually going to go down, and now in the mid lane, I don't think they pressure Roblox. So Indonesia will get the objective. They get a couple kills off of it. Whoa.
Indonesia. Oh, wait. A flicker used by Yehezkiel here.
Oh! Dark Baby went all the way up to the mid lane, and he just died.
Dark Baby seeing black. That is one of the worst punishes I've seen from an attempted double lane. And now Robinx. Seeing here that Leonardo and Witty are rotating. Tries to get him down. Oh!
Oh, punctured into the Phantom Execution. Everything else, he'll get the flicker out. Even utilizing the Retribution. So Robinx not able to get the kill.
I think Robinx, if the rest of the map wasn't so dire, could have tried to kill Leonardo. The only thing that Kabuki was holding on to was the damage reduction from that turret. Now in the orange, oh no, Chin commits Grand Theft Orange!
Oof. That's going to be tough. Robinx is not having a good time, man. There's been multiple things now in the past like minute where he's just, you know, having stuff taken from him. He should be able to get his purple. It looks like he's like, Lifestyle, please. Help me with this one. I need the purple at least. So he's going to be able to go ahead and secure that. You can see here from the items falling into place. You got the Blade of Hepsies already for Chin.
And Chin is a threat not only to the softies, but even Lifestyle and Baby Sheba have to watch out. Team Indonesia is playing with so much battlefield mobility that suddenly Yehezkiel could be around the corner, Witty could be rolling up to you, and this makes the lane for Kabuki so safe. He is
look at the damage.
So much money. Robinx!
Robinx! He just wants to jungle. He just wants to play. He does get away, but Chin still there. Retribution going to be used. Cutthroat too. Cables on through under the turret. Gonna get that mega kill. 4-0 now for Chin. Oh, I think he might even go here. Dark Baby. Dark Baby, run! Trying to get away. Rhapsody shots on Leonardo. There's the jump, but Dark Baby already gone. Baby Sheba a little bit too late to save Dark Baby, and now Leonardo has a little bit of shield, but finally Roblox comes in to punish him. Meanwhile, Indonesia the whole time will go ahead and secure themselves the second turtle.
This is the story of the end game push for game number 1. Team Indonesia playing it fast and loose, come what may, but they still got what they want anyways. The turtle take, the kills in the bottom lane. The only unfortunate thing I can say is the fact that, oh my god, Kabuki gets taken down, but just as fast, Dark Baby gets put to sleep again. Dark, he's just a baby.
I'm about to shout, he's just a baby. Dark Baby has been having a tough time, man. Back-to-back games. Leonardo in the 2v1. Rest of the team is going to be rotating down here, though. Witty waited patiently. There's a box shield ward in the bush. Oh, Baby Sheba. Unfortunate for Baby Sheba. Meanwhile, on the top side, Aran. Couple shots. That Primal Wrath going to be popped. Oh, the connection from the turret to Lifestyle to clean up the kill. And now Robix. I'm not sure if Robix is going to be able to get that kill. Aran should be fine. Gets back into the form here. So, man, Indonesia just finds wins across the map.
Coast to coast, even in mid, things are falling apart for Team Laos. Down goes Dark Baby again, who, contrary to popular belief, is actually not a baby. He's almost 22 years old, playing for Team Laos. But, Joseph, I could have sworn at least one lane could have been safe, could have been protected. Kabuki here drops a Zaman Force.
2v1, Witty just around the corner. Revitalize already going to be popped. Roblox is gone. Baby Sheba going to be the next target. Wise Man now joining the fight. They'll go ahead and keep him there. Yezgil dropping down the feathered airstrike. Gets the flicker out from Lifestyle. But Dark Baby joining the fight. Popping off the Rhapsody. Keeping them from following through. So Laos finding some fight back. But look at this. Indonesia still waiting through. There's the Onward Earth Shadow combination we were talking about. Primal Wrath as well. And Lifestyle will jump to his death. As Aran picks up a kill. Indonesia is relentless right now.
Joseph, look at this. Throughout the whole debacle, the sequence in the bottom lane, Ju, the Fanny, Chin was just pushing up top.
He's just a baby.
Dark Baby, not again!
Oh, what a flicker. Good kill, good play.
Oh,
he's had enough, man.
That's it. Baby knew how to fight back. Ju!
Oh, Chin. Oh, feathered airstrike to clean up Roblox. I thought Chin was going to go down there, but Ju able to come through, and luckily with Wiseman now in the mid lane. Well, wings by wings on out. Aran up in the front, tossing him over the head into their Shatter combination. Has enough damage and is tanky enough too. Pops the Primal Wrath. And now Robix could be in trouble. There's a couple shots, and with the War Cry, the kill will go over to the Wiseman, but now Turtle for the taking. Aran will start it up, has even the orange buff, man. Chin will come in to clean things up, getting the 3 for 3 for the Turtles.
I thought Team Indonesia was going to take that Raw again without a retribution, but in comes Chin, very last second to take it. Team Indonesia, they're looking at a 8K gold lead here. It's the same story as game number 1. I mean, we might not see the Savage, but that's just icing on the cake. If anything, this lineup that they drafted in game number 2 is worse for Team Laos when it comes to the map. Sure, they fixed the whole wave clear situation, but Team Indonesia are pushing at a rate that Team Laos could not answer to.
You can see this. A feathered airstrike already dropped down. They're just going to take the tier 2. Little toss-up run. Goes in with the onward. Won't find the connection, though, to toss him over the head, but still now takes the turret. Looking to take the orange as well, or at least put pressure. Meanwhile, a push up top from Chin. Meanwhile, 4 versus 5 here in the jungle. There you go. You can't escape that, Baby Sheba. And there's the Zaman Force and enough damage to come through with Leonardo to clean up. And Chin will jump in under the turret as Dark Baby falls. Make it another. Robix can't do anything but watch the team go down. And Indonesia showing exactly what this kind of lead will do in this game, too.
Unfortunate that Chin got taken down there. A lot of shutdown gold served over to Lifestyle, if I'm not mistaken. It was the Phobius that killed him.
Oh,
I think one problem Indonesia might have down the line is when Laos gets to build their magic defense items. You're already seeing a little bit of it on Lifestyle. Indonesia might have to play the map a little more. They might have to play it safely and won't get away with all this team fighting all over, messy shenanigans, because Lifestyle now just built his tough boots, right? What else does he have? Does he have the Radiant armor? Is he going to build another Athena shield? Because the only real physical threat is Chin. That's it.
yeah.
Whoa!
Oh, whoa. Talk about unfortunate time to go down for Robinks. Robinks. Not now. Lord's going to be secure, though, so Chin will get that. And look at the focus in the mid lane. They want to go ahead and get this shield down if they can. Holy shield, they'll put the pressure. Witty jumping for Baby Shiba. They'll hold it at bay for as long as they can, but that cannon minion's going to push in here. It'll pop the Holy Shield in the mid. They already got the bottom one down. And so they'll get ready for this push with the Lord coming forth up on that top lane.
Synced waves here for Team Indonesia. That's the Revitalize used by Witty already. So that's one major resource that Team Laos can take note of. In case we get them low enough, that's when you come in, Dark Baby. That's when the baby finally comes out of the crib. Waves up top, waves in the bottom. Chin coming in!
Chin! Oh, Chin. A little overzealous there, thinking that he could at least get the kill on Robinks, but Robinks survives. Base turret's going to be worked on. The rest of the team is up here, so even without Chin, do they still want to fight? Top turret finally going down. Primal Wrath going to be popped, and Lifestyle jumping on in. The rest of the team following them through with the crowd control, but you can already see Robinks is gone. Takes a little bit too much damage. Meanwhile, the team's still going to be finding out. Leonardo joining the fight. Double kill for Aran. A feathered airstrike to come down and lay down the artillery. They still have the wave making its way down the mid, so the next focus is this mid base turret. But with Dark Baby still up and Roblox, they're still going to be able to defend. A good burst of damage on Wiseman as Wiseman. Yezkiel will go ahead and back off, but right now, Leonardo, not sure if he can actually knock this turret down. So Laos, against it all, even 10,000 gold behind, will stay in the game again like they did in the previous one.
Joseph, I don't know if it's just an individual scale impatience, but did you see Roblox flicker in? I don't know if that was necessary.
Yeah.
You were defending, and you see the big gap in your gold. Items-wise, you're not going to be bursting anyone down from Team Indonesia like that. He flickered, he committed his major resource, his battle spell, for the hope of a kill. But now he has to deal with the lack of it, the absence of a free get-out-of-jail ticket for a minute and a half. Team Indonesia will definitely take advantage of that.
Yeah, they will. You can see this, you know, Witty was almost gonna even give the call to Iran or start things up in that side of the jungle. You can see he's rotating around in the base. A feathered airstrike. They want the base turret. They'll take the bottom one. There it is. Malefic Gun going to be able to give the range to Leonardo. They're going to go and just push on forward. They take out Baby Shiba. Mid turret. The wave is still up in the mid portion of the map, so they got to push this in. Rest of the members of Indonesia will wait patiently, but with Baby Shiba gone, they have a numbers disadvantage for Laos. That wave will finally make its way, and then you'll have a fully exposed base of Laos. Now can Indonesia end it here? Witty taking a couple shots from Dark Baby. The Zaman Force already dropped down, and they get the combo off again, and Lifestyle's in trouble. They're forcing it in. They'll already lock onto the base. The next wave going to be pushing it in. They just want to end the game as Indonesia will sweep Laos.
Lucky number 13. Indonesia not wasting any time. Ends it. Gets the sweep. 2-0 against Team Laos. Joseph, I thought the Lancelot was worse. I mean, on paper, the Savage does look better. But here, because of the Fanny, they were able to just really attack the map so much more quickly and end faster.
Definitely so. You can see from the highlights here, you know, this game started off on the right foot, of course, for Indonesia. It was really difficult for Laos just because of the fact that, you know, you said, I think the concept of the composition that they had, it made some sense, but in terms of what those last picks were for Indonesia, they just completely, like, destroyed the game plan of it. Because when it came to these fights and then having the lead, you weren't able to do much, and they put enough pressure on the Robinks. You know, Robinks struggled. He had so many deaths. Same with Dark Baby early on. Yep. You fall so far behind so fast.
I think the most dangerous part of their draft is the Kagura pick on Roblox, because you're looking at it, and it came in at the very last spot, blue 4 and 5. We didn't know that the Edith was going to show up. What was it doing? What was it going to give to Laos as a tool to try and stop Indonesia from going all the way? I don't think this is a sound pick. So this is the one part of this draft that I was hoping could have been more catered to holding down the line, clearing waves, or supporting the rest of the map so that Dark Baby can farm. But alas, this is what Laos brought to the table. This is what they believed could step forth and go up against Team Indonesia, but this is where we are. A game much faster ended.
Yeah, much quicker here. And again, that's what I was saying, you know, with the composition that Indonesia had, you saw it. Leonardo was half the time wanted to just take fights. You know, he wanted to go ahead and take these 1v2s, 1v3s. But Witty did a great job rotating where he had to be. But again, everybody could protect themselves, basically. It was just, you know, really Kabuki that you had to take care of. And even so, when it's like your XP lane here for Aran on the Iesf is 5-0-8 and pumping out that much damage, you can see he even had a Feather of Heaven. You know, it's and like he just wanted to fight. He wanted to pump out the damage of the Primal Wrath, and that's exactly what happened. And you know, so you're overloaded with damage, especially when you are so scaled far behind Indonesia, that damage hurts even more. You were pointing out, like, yeah, some of the magic resist items would really help Laos. It started to, in a sense, but then again, even when you have that, you're mostly just withstanding the Feathered Airstrike, you know, and then Chin was still a problem. So was Aran, and then Leonardo could kind of come up and clean up. And if he was just jumping in with the Zombie Force, it was just to force Laos in a response or a position that wasn't favorable for them to, even in the base, you know?
Yep.
So it was just kind of an overloaded situation for them.
Yeah, realistically, the whole magic defense gambit wouldn't last forever, because even Edith is playing with some true damage. Harith with Starlim Sight is playing with some true damage. So the dream was gonna die for Laos eventually. And now in hindsight, again, looking through the highlights, looking at the draft, their lineup couldn't hold a battle line. Their lineup could not hold a box, a zone for them to flourish, for there to be enough damage for Dark Baby to do his thing. That's why he was getting taken out so quickly, so often. 5 deaths in this 13-minute game. We wish Team Laos the best, but this is definitely a sign that they need a lot of reps. They need more experience to step the Team Indonesia.
Like I was saying, man, I think that's going to be the case for a lot of teams out there. We echoed the same sentiments yesterday with Brunei versus Philippines, and you know, it's always, you got to take it in the sense of you get a chance to play against one of these powerhouse teams. You get to go ahead and take that information and hopefully improve as a team. Now, again, some of these players get to go on and continue to play together, and some not so often, or it depends, of course, on their region. But you can learn a lot from a game like this, especially with just how Indonesia drafted, for example, how they executed the rotations early on. And even if you look at the Lancelot, for example, how it was played in the hands of Chin from game 1, you know, that might be something that can be used there for Laos in their future matches ahead of them. So hats off to them. Congratulations again, Indonesia. That's a sweep for them. It was, of course, you know, tough to see Laos. It was one-sided series there, but like we said, you got to take what you can from the series, and it was good. It was good. It was good to watch, but Indonesia looks as clean as ever, man.
Yep. Nothing yet from the new hotfix update that really took the game by storm. Maybe we'll see it in the next series tonight. Who knows?
We just might. Again, that concludes our first match of 3 for today here for the Iesf Asia and Oceania qualifiers. We still have another match. It's going to be a longer break, though, since that was a sweep. So I think we've got about 50 minutes or so. So we will see you guys after this longer break.